If it's gonna come to that anyway, or he's just got to dispose of the body.
You know, might as well. You know, he just wakes up. He's like, "What are we doing here? Who are you? Why am I on this thing?"
इनमें से गजनी कौन है?
White shirt, white pant में. अरे कहाँ जा रहे हो? तुम उससे ऐसे नहीं मार सकते. उसके साथ बहुत सारे लोग हैं. रुको, हम उसे अकेले में पकड़ेंगे. You want dangerous area? पागल हो गया क्या?
You're talking to a man who won't remember you in 15 minutes. I guess that explains his behavior. You gotta keep it moving. You ain't got time for niceties.
कहाँ जा रहा? अंदर नहीं जाने का. चलो.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. You saw somebody knock somebody's head back around and you were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try him."
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
I like that. I wasn't expecting that.
She's just following the path of destruction.
Following bodies like breadcrumbs.
I like the fighting style. It's just like, how do I put these people down as efficiently as possible?
He's like, nope. Oh, yes, boss fight. Oh. Damn, so much for that surprise attack. Yeah, my man snarled at him.
Well, something obviously went missing when he got his head trauma, because like it's almost like he doesn't feel pain sometimes. Jesus.
My man sound like an animal for real.
Yeah.
It's too late for all this running now. You had a look on that face when you was talking trash earlier.
Where are these guys coming from?
Oh, you goons are about to get it. Give me that too. Goodness.
Ow! Whoa!
Great stunt. That was a great stunt. He earned his day rate for that one. Oh shit, he forgot.
He's got nothing.
Oh, yeah, he long gone. That's gotta suck. I feel like we slid into another genre again a little bit. He better than ask me if he's all right. Hey man, you all right?
चलो भाई चलो मैं प्रकाश भाई आप भूल गए हम दोनों गजनी को पकड़ने आए थे भाई देखो कितना मारा भाई उसने बहुत मारा उसने बहुत खतरनाक आदमी है भाई
Stab him now. Oh my gosh. Where did they get your toes though, my guy?
आप देखते रहना भाई आप देखते रहना बहुत कमीना आदमी है भाई बहुत कमीना आदमी है
Oh.
Sorry.
मैं हूँ गजनी तू मुझे मारना चाहता था याद है क्यों
तेरी याददाश्त तो बहुत कमजोर है भाई सिर्फ 15 मिनट ही चलती है अब तेरी जिंदगी के आखिरी 15 मिनट में मैं तुझे पूरा एक्शन रिप्ले करके दिखाता हूँ
He's about to do a bad guy monologue. Oh no, he's straight to business.
याद है वो रोड जिससे मैंने तेरी मंगतर को मारा था तुझे मारने से पहले मैं तुझे ये दिखाता हूँ कि मैंने तेरी कल्पना को कैसे मारा था
Oh shit. Damn.
Get your ass out.
Get up, dude. Redo history. Do different. Come on, dude. Get up. Get up, get up, get up. Come on, come on.
Oh.
Bleed out and kick his ass. Come on. Quick, quick, quick.
Nope.
Damn.
Yeah, man. When he gets in that zone, he transforms. Oh, the big one.
Yeah, let's see how you like it.
He was like, just so you can feel that. But you know what sucks about this, though? You're not going to be able to remember the satisfaction.
Yeah. Well, that was part of the point of the original movie. I mean, unless he's made a tape like 50 First Dates, play that every morning, go through the highs and lows of like, you lost her and you got the bad guy.
That's his tape recorder right there. Looks almost normal again.
पूजा
I would have enforced a name tag policy. Pooja, nice. Raul, asshole.
I have a present for you.
That's crazy, man. To be this like CEO billionaire and then reduced to barely functioning adult.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow, that's really good. I like the way that came full circle. That was nice.
That's pretty. I guess before we like talk about the movie as a whole, I just want to talk about that ending. I would have done the ending different, I think. Because what they did was they had this hopeful, sweet ending. Maybe it wasn't hopeful, but it was sweet. I would have just ended the movie as soon as he killed the guy. Like, I would have had him die. He just dies right after he killed him. He did what he needed to do, and he's out. I don't know. He has like a vision of her as he's dying. That's what I would have done, as far as his journey goes.
You weren't feeling the long looks of understanding towards the end. At the end,
I just didn't need that whole thing with him being at the children's orphanage thing. Like, I didn't need all that. It just started introducing more questions for me. Does he ever freak out on the kids because he doesn't know who they are? He doesn't know where he's at. Like, it just starts introducing more questions, and the movie already introduced a lot of questions along the way. I'm like, it would have been a perfect ending because it came full circle with him like doing exactly what the bad guy did to him, knocking him out. He's already stabbed. It's set up for him to go. Let him die peacefully right there. Like, let him go. Because now he's gonna have to live with this pain every single day, and that to me is torture.
Okay, that was my problem with the ending, is that he's still stuck living in his hell, in his personal hell of just waking up and not knowing. I thought that they were gonna go there. Once they stabbed him, I was like, okay, then they're both gonna die. He'll be able to get this piece of satisfaction and remember it in that moment and then die, and then everything would have been solved. But now he's just gonna have to kind of like live through that torment. But I guess they watered it down enough that, you know, his torment is more so a part of spending time with the kids and those less fortunate, and then I guess he can use his money in those means. But you're right, it does create more questions.
But overall, I think that for as goofy as the movie got sometimes, I actually really liked it. I thought that there were some cool bits in it that were exciting and well done, well told. Visually, I thought that there were some actually fun moments that I would want to steal. That moment when bad guy is walking up on Aamir Khan's girl, you just see the shot of his boots stepping on the plates, and you just hear that crunch of the whatever that was, those plates, I guess.
Plates?
Yeah. Whatever he was crunching there, it was really scary. And I was like, I already know what's gonna happen. Like, I already know she's gonna die, but the way it was shot was done so well. The music was very, very dramatic when she was hiding in the closet and whatnot, and that's actually how we used to do movies. Now that feels a little bit over the top. I still like that stylistically. It's very horror tropes. I mean, the only person who does that kind of thing is Sam Raimi, and that's what we saw in Multiverse of Madness. It's like very like epic, dramatic music with scary shit going down, you know, while the bad guys are closing in on you. The whole cell phone thing was just like a sad, ironic moment of him calling her back, and that's what lets the bad guys know she's up there still, gotta go get her still. I thought that was all actually very, very interesting stuff. The clash of tones is as an American, it's odd, but like I enjoyed it in the moment. Like the whole facade that he had of like being this guy and then her like not knowing who he is and him falling in love with her, etc., you know, and then contrasting that with the very serious like, horror action.
How did you feel about her not ever finding out who he really was?
I thought it was sad, but sweet, I guess. I mean, it's what he wanted. If he had fucking told her, she wouldn't have died. Like if he had just told her, she probably would have never been on that train, or I don't know, who knows, like circumstances would have been different, but like woulda, coulda, shoulda.
It felt a little unresolved because I thought that would have been maybe like just before she died. In my head, I was like, well, he'll probably reveal who he is, and then, you know, we'll get an even a larger, oh my God, not only do I love you, you're rich, and I'll have even more of my dreams answered, and then the tragedy comes, you know? I thought there would have been a payoff for that, for all of the deceit that we had from earlier. It wasn't enough to, you know, destroy the movie. It wasn't that deep, but I was like, oh man, she never did find out that she like, you know, you struck pay there, girl. Got yourself a rich man.
Yeah.
So contrast that, what I did love and all the way made up for it is that scene. She's already a giving person that we've seen, you know, over and over and over again. But that moment when she sold the car in order to get the money to save his mother, and him feeling the weight of that money, it felt like the money weighed something because the way he carried it, he didn't try to hide it and everything. And he's walking in solitude by himself and he's processing this amazing gift that she gave him. So that part was so good. It made up for any of the smaller little nitpicking things that I'm doing.
You know, Christopher Nolan notoriously is terrible at writing female characters. And I thought that what they did here was actually quite interesting because there was a lot of development for her character. She wasn't just a function of his story. Like, she was important, and they really developed her side of things. Sometimes to the detriment of the movie, in my opinion. Like, I think that sometimes it was too much. We really got to know her and who she is and what she's about in a way that completely outdoes whatever they did in Memento, because Memento just wasn't going for that. Memento had a very focused goal. You're very much inside of Guy Pearce's mind and his journey, and so any instances of her is just a function of his reality and his perspective of things. And I get that and I respect it. Looking at Nolan's work as a whole, every time he writes women, they're often just not well done. This movie, while goofy in half of it, I thought it was cool to get to know her and to get to fall in love with her with Aamir Khan.
That part, I'm with you on that, 110%. It could be a little jarring, like you said, from a Western viewer to see like two totally different genres merged together, but it works in the state that you get a chance to see how drastically contrasting his former life was. Right. Even though he was a rich and wealthy man, she brought him down to earth. She had this spirit about her that lit up a room. Everybody liked being around her to the point that it felt sitcomish. I know I said that, but it's so drastically different from how far he has come down because of her loss. There is no gray area. It's either the light or it's the dark.
There were elements of noir in the movie sometimes that were just sort of fleeting. The original Memento is quite noirish. Part of the movie is it's sad and somber and really dark. Like I remember the first time I watched Memento, I was mad. I was so mad at the ending. I was so pissed. I'm like, wait, so you already got the dude a long time ago and you're actually your own villain. It was so messed up. I was mad at Nolan. I hated that movie for like 5-10 years, and I had to watch it again later on to appreciate the genius of that film. And now I really like it. It's one of my favorite movies. But like initially I was so pissed because it took me along on this journey just to pull the rug up from under my feet in the last scene. I'm like, oh, this guy. I was so mad. And then find out Joe Pantoliano was like, yo, we got the guy. Like, I've just been helping you get other criminals along the way, and I felt bad for you. And, you know, and then he's like, all right, cool. You're my John G now. I'm like, dang. The dude who helped you catch the guy who killed your woman and put you in this situation, you're going to kill him now. That's fucked up. So messed up. You know? So,
you know what I thought they were going to do? I thought they were going to make the second lady that was going to help him, I forgot her name, the one that was the medical student that ends up helping towards the end. Yeah. I thought that they were going to like twist her into that character, into that role, especially once, because she knew the whole story, and I was like, oh, well, she'll be like his archive of revenge or whatever it was. It did kind of turn that way, but only once. It didn't, you know, with the big payoff with the Nolan one where he does it over and over again. But I thought that's exactly what they were going to do.
Yeah, the movie got a little far-fetched sometimes. I didn't mind him having this like crazy physical strength and fighting ability. I just chucked that up to a part of him was lost that gives any shit about fear.
That part.
You know, and even pain. He just takes it and he keeps moving. He's only got 15 minutes, so there's no time for ouch. You know?
Yeah. I liked his wake up moments. Like when he woke up in the mall, like when the 15 minutes spent, they didn't overdo it. I thought that was gonna be like a big thing that they would lean on. Like every 15 minutes, he's just gonna have a complete blank out. There was a time where it seemed like it went a little bit longer, but when it did happen, it was pretty pivotal. The mall scene was really pivotal. And then at the very end, when you've really got the guy and you forgot who he is. So they did pick and choose those moments really well.
They pushed it a little sometimes. I'm like, okay, so he wakes up in the hospital room, right? She shows him the diary and the newspapers and all this stuff. And I'm like, by the time you got through 1/100th of this data, he will have already lapsed 15 minutes. I thought they were pushing the boundaries a little bit in that regard, but overall it made for a fun film. I really enjoyed actually the horror elements of the movie. I thought that stuff was cool. It was genuinely unsettling sometimes. That whole scene with the pipe, the bad guy's dragging the pipe on the floor and he hits it on the floor twice. It's like, that's really good bad guy stuff that we don't get anymore. It feels like that's gone. We used to have that. And then it brought full circle when he did the same thing. He's like, no, because he had a rod. He's like, that's not good enough. I need to find a pipe.
Yeah, he was looking around. He was like, no, I'm gonna really get you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, one of the things I absolutely can't stand, and it's funny into itself, and that is the bad guy monologue. But in this instance, it makes sense because he really legitimately has a reason to monologue because the dude doesn't legitimately remember.
Yeah.
So many times, especially in like 70s and 80s movies, you know, the bad guy, I'm gonna tell you my entire plan, Bond, and you'll never figure it out. And you're like, why would you ever do that?
Yeah.
And you know he's just gonna escape. But in this one, yeah, I was like, okay, that's all the way forgiven.
Yeah. I liked Aamir Khan's acting for the most part in this. The animal thing, it took me most of the movie before I got behind that. Like, I had to get through like 80-90% of the movie before I was like, okay, I'm into this animalistic thing. It makes sense. Because initially I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what is this movie doing? Why? Like, why are you going all the way crazy? By the end of it, I was like, okay, he's felt all he has is his anger, his rage. That's it. And that turns you into a kind of an animal, I guess. I was like, okay, by the end of the movie, I was into it. But I will say that the scene you pointed out was definitely one of my favorite scenes when she gives him the money for his mom. That was a really touching moment that I just didn't see coming. I'm going through my mind of like, what could she possibly want at 1 a.m.? Maybe she got a new flat, she has to leave, or something like she wants to like solidify that they're gonna get married. I don't know, like, I thought one of those things would come up. The last thing, for some reason, the last thing I expected was her giving him the dough he needed for his mom, you know?
Yeah. I didn't see that coming.
But it tracks with her character because she's like the most giving character.
I want to give an honorable mention to the cop that was in the very first half of the movie, the super cop. Yo, that dude was buff. He could fight. I believed him, and I was like, this is going to be our guy for the whole movie. And then he didn't make it. So I want to give him an honorable mention for knowing how to run.
Yeah.
Because a lot of actors don't know how to run, man. I don't know how it was aggravating when you see actors run. That dude could run. He could do it all. He even chased down a full-blown bus, like in real time.
What did you think of everything that they did to him? Like, they covered up his tattoos. Like, they really went a different direction from Memento, like a way different direction. His whole home,
Yes.
you know, his whole, all that evidence, all that information. I need to comment again about how weird it was that his medical health didn't see all that shit in his home. Kill Ghajini. Like, that is a red flag.
A little bit. It's pretty bright.
You know, like how does that not come up? But anyway, it still wigs me out that no one called the cops when the lady was like, oh, they're coming to kill you. They're in your house already. I'm like, you know a lot of information, lady. How come you're not calling the popos? They're coming to get you. So I'm sending the cops. Try to find a spot to hide. Something. And like, at least show us that so that the Ghajini guy can be like, you know, you're good. We got this. Yeah. And you see that he's in control. You know, I needed something, but I guess you can just assume that he's in control of the police because like the cop inside the hospital was working for him. So I guess we can just assume
That's true.
You know, he's in control of the popos anyways.
I had a hard time like knowing where her allegiance was. The selling out that she did, and then she kind of came to her senses at the end and was like, maybe I'm gonna help this guy. I'm like, who are you working for? I'm like, you're just a med student. Why are you in this so deep? She seemed a little jarring at times, but hey, you know, she came through in the end and gave him the Hulkamania revenge shake so that he can, you know, finish him off.
I mean, that whole thing with that police lady was just weird to me. That's one of those moments in the film that I thought was just quite goofy in a bad way, because she's like, oh, so you brought in 25 kids, 2 of them are missing. You got to come down here. It's like, what's she gonna do? You got the same list that she does. You have the same names that she does. Like, what is this woman gonna do after she realizes who are the 2 girls that are missing? Like, then what? What? Like, you know, like, what is the plan? Like, you have to. The character's actions have to have some kind of a goal. I don't know what that end goal was. Like, okay, she comes down, she identifies the 2 kids. Then what's next? Like, I have to be able, as the audience, to piece that together. So she identifies the 2 kids. Like, from where do we go? You know, and it was one of those things that was just sort of stitching the story together. That's what that felt like to me. And I was so I just have to let it go at a certain point.
I'm with you. They just had to have the motivation for her to get down there so that she could meet, Ghajini, and so it's just what it was. Yeah, plot point.
How did you feel? How did you feel about the acting of the bad guy?
He was all right. He was actually, you know what? He kind of grew on me a little bit more towards the end. I liked him in the very end when he was in retreat mode and him having that smart moment. It's like, oh, wait a minute, this dude don't remember anything. Like then he got better. Yeah. And then I really enjoyed his monologue, and then how menacing he was when you mentioned the pipe scene. But up until then, I was kind of a little indifferent about him. He grew on me.
Yeah. I mean, that moment when Aamir Khan walks up and the guy's like peeking over the wall waiting for Aamir Khan, that was one of my favorite moments in the entire film. Like, he turns around, he's right there. It's like faced with the guy he's hiding from, and the dude he's hiding from has no idea who he is. Like, it's just such a weird. Yeah, you knew as the audience. It's it's such a weird circumstance that you don't get to. There's not too many films that would you be able to justify a moment like that. You know, it's like, that's a serious moment, but it's hilarious for the right reasons. How do you replicate that in any other film? You know, I thought that was fun. Like, they played with the rules really well there. For taking, inspiration from Memento and doing this entirely different kind of movie, I thought was neat. You know, it explored things that were actually missing in Memento. And I thought that was a cool direction to take things. The thing you come to find out in Memento, the Christopher Nolan movie, is that the journey already happened a while ago. It's long been done. And he's been stuck in this loop it's almost like The Matrix, right? Because, you come to find out this isn't the first Matrix. There's like 6 of them came before, and it's just this sort of recycled thing that keeps happening over and over again. Whereas here, we were properly on that journey. And I thought, what if, like, because you had mentioned it, what if that med student basically is the Joe Pantoliano character who's helping him to constantly track down these different criminals, also named Ghajini, or something like that. Like, this was the genesis, what do you call it? The introductory story?
Yes,
the origin story?
The origin story,
of the Memento guy. I'm like, oh, that's something cool, that's different. But they didn't go that direction. I mean, we could just imagine that it did.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do a remake, then make it your own, and they did that. This was definitely its own unique thing with a good enough hat tips to the original.
Yeah, I'm damn curious now about how the original of this one is, because this is a remake of a different Indian film, and I am curious about that now. I don't know if I would want to do a whole watch along, but like I'm definitely curious about the differences between the two, and if it was like the same director or anything like that. Because in fact, I'm just gonna look that up real quick. Because sometimes that happens.
Is it named the same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes that happens where a director will remake his film in India, and it's the same. It's just the same director, but a completely different team. It was 2008, and the first one was in 2005. It looks like it was even the same actress. Ghajini was directed by A.R. Murugadoss, and so was the remake. A.R. Murugadoss.
So, yeah, what you just said.
And Asin Thottumkal.
And Campana was the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asin Thottumkal. I can't say her last name. Thottumkal.
So was the police officer. The police officer was the same person. And our bad guy.
Really?
We had a lot of the same cast.
Oh, Surya was the guy. Oh my God. I almost feel like I have to watch this movie now. Surya is a huge South Indian movie star. That's wild. I had no idea it was Surya. I feel like I gotta watch this movie now. I hope people are clamoring for it in the comments, because that would be a fun watch.
Hey, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. I had fun with this one.
Yeah. So you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Do subscribe if you haven't already, bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up. And if you're watching this on Patreon or memberships, thanks so much for supporting us here. Really appreciate y'all being here with us on this fun ride through Ghajini. All right. That's it for now. I'm Jaby KOAY. This is...
Hey, it's your boy SYNTELL.
Peace out.